And we are live. How's it sound out there, people? Tried to go live earlier today around 8:30, but the microphone wasn't on. I couldn't figure out what was wrong. It was muted somehow. Had to do a restart, set up everything, postpone until 9:30. But welcome to the Cybersky. Let's learn something. Today will be a day filled with stories of tech support, drama, and issues with cable, ISP providers. Shout out to Spectrum. I don't know if you guys saw that Saturday Night Live skit that they did. They really made fun of Spectrum. I have some friends that they tell me that they don't have Spectrum, but that all ISPs are the same internet service providers. That it's a horror trying to get service, high speed, and tech support when things go wrong. I actually had trouble with my cable as well. I'm going to talk about all that in a minute, but let me know in the chat if you're here, where you're from, what's good. If you hold crypto, let me know what kind you hold and recommend. Yeah, you know, we're debuting a new format this week. You might see me looking to the side occasionally, just looking at my notes. We're going to start off with news from the Cybersky. That is news of what's been going on in my world, my tech support issues, my drama, my new laptop, my microphone that didn't work, et cetera, et cetera. So that segment's called News from the Cybersky. And then we follow that with some quick bites. Quick bites are real short stories and mentions of recent tech news, but no deep dive, just quick mentions, some interesting things that have come up in the past week or two. And then we go into tech talk. That'll be a little bit deeper a discussion that we have about something in technology that I wanted to bring to the table this episode. After tech talk, we finish it off with what a lot of people were waiting for, like crypto. So that's called Crypto Gems, right here on Cybersky Videos, where we will discuss the latest trends, activities, ups and downs in the world of cryptocurrency, also related blockchain currencies, smart contracts, NFTs, and so on. All of that will be on today's episode, and we'll be getting into that pretty soon. So stick around. While you're waiting, smash that like button, hit subscribe if you're a new member, and say something in the comments or in the chat. We'll be starting all of that right now. Don't go away. All right, we are back. You know, one thing that I wish that StreamYard could do, I'm broadcasting using the StreamYard interface online, StreamYard.com. One thing that I like is when you can have that intro music, you can turn it on, turn it off. One thing I don't like is sometimes I want it to fade out and I want the music to keep playing. So I want the visuals to cut off. You see me talking to you, and then you still hear playing a little bit as they go on. Well, let's talk about news from the Cybersky. This week, I will be discussing my issues with Spectrum, as I was mentioning earlier. Yeah, I needed to do two things this week. I need to turn on Showtime because I want to watch Dexter, and I need to increase my internet speed. So we'll be talking about that, and then we'll get into the quick bites, tech news real fast, followed by a tech talk about Joe Rogan and his deal with Spotify. He's been on Spotify for a while now, and I have a question for the audience, which I'm going to pose later on when we get to that segment. So stick around. Let me know in the chat, do you watch Joe Rogan or do you listen on Spotify? I watch him on YouTube myself, but I have to wait for the short clips because he puts the full shows on Spotify, and I don't have time to go listen to those. I just think I just prefer the YouTube format. But he made a lot of money on that deal, and people have now been thinking about it and seeing what his numbers are doing and discussing whether or not that was a good move to go to Spotify. And finally, in Crypto Gems, we'll be talking about an article that I saw on Coinbase. And that basically sheds light on how crypto donations are ushering a new era of philanthropy, charitable giving, using cryptocurrency. All right, all that will be starting right now. So stick around. But right now, let's go to the news from the Cybersky. In fact, we will go back to the Spectrum slide. Yeah. News from the Cybersky. So this week, I had my run-in with Spectrum, as I mentioned earlier. And we're going to talk about it because I was not happy with my my customer service, shall we say, or my tech support. It did all eventually get resolved, or else I wouldn't be broadcasting. But a couple of weeks ago, I started to notice little glitching, and sometimes my face would freeze in the middle. I'd be like, oh, and I was wondering what that was. I thought it might be StreamYard, or I thought it might be YouTube. I was trying to figure it out, but I think it came down to was the internet speed. A while ago, I turned off my internet speed. I turned it from like a really fast service to a slower service because I stopped teaching my Zoom classes and we went back to in person. So I said, I don't need this much speed. Let me slow it down. I turned it off. So my upload speed was 10 megabytes per second, and my download speed was 1 or 200, which is okay. Download speed is great, but it's the upload speed that you need to worry about. So I called Spectrum to see if I could increase my speed, and the next level was 200 megabytes per second upload speed. So if I'm doing a show like this, I'm uploading to the internet from my house, and then 400 download speed, which is super fast. 400 is what the school that I work at, Arts and Letters 305 United in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, what they have for the whole school, hundreds of students online at the same time, is 400. So 400 is plenty for downloading. If you're watching, if you have like 5 or 6 different devices, phones, iPads, computers in different rooms, and they're all streaming services at the same time, like watching YouTube or something, 400 would totally take care of that. But that's not what was important to me. I don't really care about if it glitches when I'm watching. I care about upload speed because I'm doing this show and I want it to be more professional. I care about you guys, you know? So anyway, I really wanted to make sure there was no more glitches or pixelation. So I sprung for the 35 upload speed and 1 gig download speed, not playing around. I could have just bumped it up one level, but I'm paying a lot more to get the really top level. I said, look, just what's the fastest upload speed you have? They said you can get up to 35 megabytes per second upload speed. I said, all right, let me try that. We'll see how it goes this week. We'll see if it glitches. And this was about 8:30 p.m. on a Saturday night. Now, I also wanted to watch the new Dexter series. Have you guys been watching that? On Showtime. I was a big fan of Dexter before, and a new series came out. They're already up to like episode 4 or 5, and I had turned my Showtime off because I wasn't watching any Showtime shows for many months. So I told them at the same time, can you please turn on my Showtime? You can add that to my package, my plan, right? And they said, sure, no problem. And what happened next was exactly like this Saturday Night Live skit that they did about 4 weeks ago. I'm actually going to throw it up on the screen without the sound because I don't want YouTube to flag it. But I don't know if you guys saw this. If you're not even a fan of Saturday Night Live, just search this one out and watch it. Just type SNL Spectrum skit. And basically, they're making fun of how cable companies operate, but they actually targeted Spectrum in the skit. And to be fair, like a lot of people say this is true of all companies, that all cable service providers are like this, and it's just part of how it works. But they went after Spectrum, and it was very funny. If you watch that, a lot of the comments, I watched it on YouTube, a lot of the comments under the skit were saying, this is not a comedy routine, this is a documentary. This is exactly what happens, exactly, literally. And they were trying to go over the top and be funny, but they couldn't, no matter how outrageous they were with the skit. Like, yes, that's exactly what they do, these cable companies. So anyway, I had the same experience. So I watched that on Saturday Night Live a few weeks ago, and then I couldn't believe that the exact same thing that they were making fun of that I thought was over exaggeration. The exact same things happened to me. So let me break it down. I called them up. I said, increase my internet speed and give me showtime, right? So they told me, no problem, sir. We've added that to your service. You should be able to watch showtime in 45 minutes, and your internet speed should be increased in a couple of hours as well. So in about an hour, you could turn on showtime. It'll be on, and you'll be able to watch your show. So great. Hung up. Waited about 2 hours, 3 hours, and showtime wasn't coming on. So it still said, whenever I clicked on it, it said, you don't have this package upgrade to get this channel, right? This is not part of your package upgrade to get this channel. So I called them up and I said, hey, I just turned on showtime and it's not playing, can you tell me what's up? So the representative said, hold on a second. He looked real quick and he came back and he said, oh, sir, I'm not sure why. It says here that you've got it added to your package. So we did some resets. Everyone knows you unplug, you replug, you reboot the modem, not the modem because that's the high speed. You reboot the cable box, you turn everything on and off. They sent some extra signal. They said, we're sending more signal right now. Should be working soon. Guess what? It still wasn't working an hour or two later. It's like 1, 2 in the morning. I didn't get to watch Dexter. I'm really upset. Showtime's not coming on. So I called them now. It's really late. And I'm like, hey, I paid for this service. You told me it was going to work. It's not working. What can we do about that? So this time, after putting me on hold several times for 20, 25 minutes to speak to a manager or a supervisor or whatever, they came back and said, sir, this is what the problem is. You ordered high-speed internet and showtime. We're not allowed to process the orders in a different order than what you called it in. So first we have to give you the high-speed internet, and then after that, the showtime will come on. So I'm like, okay, so how long is that going to take? I should have high speed by now. They said, oh, tomorrow when the guy comes for your appointment at 1 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, he'll be switching your modem and then your high speed will work. I'm like, what? Who's coming to my house at 1 o'clock? I didn't make any appointment. The person I spoke to said everything will work within an hour, basically. So they didn't tell me, they didn't ask me, was I going to be home? Was anyone going to let this person in? So I'm like, all right, so why is he coming? Say, oh, we can't give you the 1G service internet without a new modem, your current modem. When I said, you sure? I just changed this modem a month ago, right? I think it's the newest one. I think it should work for the 1G. They said, no, I know what modem you have. You need a new modem that will be good for the high speed for the 35 and the 1G. So I said, all right, so there's no way you can do this. You can't turn on showtime anyway while I'm waiting. And they were like, no. So I said, all right, cancel both of those orders. I cancel ordering showtime and I cancel ordering the high speed. And then I'll call back in and turn on showtime in 10 minutes. And then I'll call back and add the internet. This is what I was trying to do. I'm like thinking, how can I want to watch Dexter. I'm really upset. Saturday night. So they said, no, we can't do that. We can't cancel your order because some reason they went and spoke to some supervisors. Bottom line, I was upset. So I resigned to just wait till the next day. I said, all right, 1 o'clock, a guy's coming in with the new modem. By the way, they couldn't send me this modem and I could install it. They needed the expert to come in. This is just like the skit that you're seeing on Saturday Night Live. So they send someone to your house, whether you like it or not. On the Saturday Night Live skit, he calls in for his cable service to cancel his cable service. And they're like, oh, you need a landline. Great. And he's like, no, I need to cancel my cable. And they're like, great, we'll be there with your landline. And then the guy shows up and he's like, I'm here to install your landline. It's hilarious. So very similar. I didn't know someone was coming. Now on Saturday Night Live, the guy's talking to them on the phone. He's like, no, I don't want landline service. And then he gets a call and he clicks over and he's like, this is your Spectrum Tech. I'm outside. I can't find your house. And he's like, what? No, I don't need the landline service. He's like, no, listen, is your house blue? What color is your house? And then next thing you know, the guy's in his house. So this is what happened the next day on Sunday between 1 and 2. My wife gets a phone call and the guy's like, I can't find your house. I'm down the block somewhere. Turned out he went to 506. Our house number is 500. So we corrected him. And then he showed up in the house. Now, he comes in the house and he goes, you have the new modem. This is the same modem that I was going to bring you. I don't need to install this modem. So he said, let's see if there's a reason why you're not getting high speed. And He changes a bunch of cables. He changes some splitters. He's saying, oh, we got to drill a hole in this wall. He's telling me all this. I'm like, wait, stop. We don't need to change anything. This modem works. Just call the company, call Spectrum and tell them everything's good to send me the high speed and to give me showtime. So he's like, all right, I'm going to do that. So he calls them up and he tells me like, oh, sir, they're saying that it should work in another 30 minutes. So I'm going to leave and everything should be fine. He leaves. That was all a waste of time. I didn't need that modem. It could have turned on showtime the day before. So now an hour goes by. It's still saying you don't have showtime. I'm doing resets and everything. So I call them and they're like, oh, he didn't change the modem. Like he didn't need to change the modem because the modem was the right modem. It's the same exact identical one. They're like, no, if he doesn't change the modem, you can't get showtime. Sorry about that. This is what I'm talking about. It's just like Saturday Night Live. It's a documentary. It's not a comedy skit. It's exactly, go watch this after the show. You'll see what I'm talking about. You'll laugh yourself to sleep. So they call the tech. He comes back a half an hour later. He's like, I can't believe they got me running around. I got to do this. He's annoyed because he got other jobs to do. He's got to come back and switch this modem, even though I don't need a modem. So he goes, all right, I got to switch it. He unplugs everything, puts in the new modem. He enters the serial number that the modem's been switched. They can see that it's a different modem. He's like, now it's going to work. And he goes back on. Let me see. Oh, yeah. No, it should be working. Let's see.
It was on for a while, then just stopped.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
That's Spectrum. They're throttling me. That's hilarious.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I'm just going to go back and click it again.
Okay.
How about all the other computers?
Yeah, it's the same thing.
They're all doing that?
They all did that, yeah.
Wow. But it's not the internet. I'm getting internet. It's okay. We're recording this. So apparently, while I'm telling you this story, the stream got interrupted. And supposedly we're not broadcasting. We're not on there on YouTube. Maybe we're on Facebook. Let me just take a look real quick. Yeah, it says stream unavailable. Well, that's okay. We're going to keep recording, and I will upload this later, Spectrum. You're not going to throttle me and stop me from bashing your company. I will say that at the end, it did all work out. So, it could be that because of the video. Let's pull the video off. Maybe they don't like that. I got the video there. See if it comes back on. And I could edit that out later if possible as well. So the guy switches it. He calls them. The internet service works. Looks like my stream is coming back on. I think it was the SNL skit. It was YouTube this time. Okay. I got you, YouTube. So he leaves. Eventually, high speed comes on and the cable works. The showtime comes on. I watched Dexter in the afternoon, but it was really funny to see that it was the same type of situation. Hey, do a refresh. See if your YouTube stream comes back on. Yeah. Do a refresh, okay?
They're back on again.
Yeah, I know why. So the reason we stopped streaming for a moment is I threw the clip of the Saturday Night Live video up there. I guess YouTube flagged that. I made it small, but they didn't want to see it. And played it with no sound. So that's all right. We'll do an edit and we'll edit this part out and we'll cut to the next thing on the short form. But we're going to continue with the long form. Thank you for listening to my rant about internet speed and the ridiculousness of Spectrum. Let me know if you have similar horror stories with your ISP, your internet service provider, or your cable service provider. Let me know in the chat and in the comments below. Let's take a look at the comments. Oh, I do see some comments. Hey. Yeah. I'm saying how they throttled me for talking about Spectrum. But it could be that Saturday Night Live didn't like that I threw the video up there. But I'm promoting them. I'm saying watch their YouTube video after mine. It's pretty funny. So check out the SNL skit. Search for SNL Spectrum. And we've got more show. I'll be back in a minute with quick bites, 3 really short, interesting stories in the world of technology right here on Cybersky videos. Welcome to the Cybersky. Let's learn something. right, we are back. Cybersky Live, Tech Talk. We are in the Quick Bites segment. Thank you for sticking around. Today's Quick Bites, we're going to talk about Bit City. Bit City is in El Salvador. They're building it. El Salvador plans to build a volcano-powered Bitcoin city, right? Funded by the first government-issued Bitcoin bonds. So they're going to sell bonds, and then they're going to use part of that money to fund building the city. But its crypto moves could be economically implosive, according to Robinhood Snacks. That's where I got this story from. All right. Now, El Salvador was the first country to adopt Bitcoin as its actual currency. So now they're continuing to be first by starting this Bitcoin, this Bit City, I should say. So kudos to El Salvador. This is definitely going to help Bitcoin, which is down this week. It dropped 20%. The news reported, oh, crypto crashed. It's going to go to zero. Everything, it's all over. It went from 60 to like 49, 48. It's going to come back up. It's a good time to buy a little if you cost average in. Buy a little Bitcoin right now before it goes back up. Now, the second quick bite I wanted to tell you guys about is has to do with Barbados, another country. The Caribbean nation of Barbados is working with multiple metaverse companies to establish digital sovereign land. They're actually going to make an embassy. All right? The Barbadian Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade signed an agreement with Decentraland. Are you familiar with that? It's one of the virtual reality games and worlds that you can live in. One of the largest, most popular crypto-powered digital worlds to establish a digital embassy. This comes from Dystopian Labs newsletter. So, yeah, Barbados is the first country to have an embassy in a virtual world. They actually have a real embassy, and it's not a game pretend embassy. There's going to be people there are people in this virtual world. They are buying and selling real estate. They are walking around and engaging and interacting with each other. So for the people who are Barbadian, they have an embassy to go to in that virtual world if they ever should need such a thing. Kind of strange, but let's see if a lot of other countries follow suit. Do you think this will become a trend, or you think they're just kind of a little out there for doing that? I mean, now we've got two countries really heavily dealing with the digital world like that, El Salvador and Barbados. And let me make this a little bigger. If you take a look, this was tweeted. So from Decentraland, the game. So proud today. I'm gonna have to remove, let me see, does this come off? Yeah. So proud today to welcome the government of Barbados to Decentraland, establishing the world's first Metaverse embassy. Yes, yes. Please like and subscribe, by the way. So that's very interesting. Now, in Quick Bites news, you might have been wondering what Mark Zuckerberg has been up to. What's that Zucky been up to? Okay, he's building VR gloves for the Metaverse. All right. Here's some more details. Meta is spending $10 billion on AR, VR in general, hardware for the Metaverse. That's why he changed the name of the company to Meta instead of Facebook, because now he's going to be doing more things than just Facebook. He's getting into the Metaverse, and he's probably going to be creating things to go with that. The first thing up are these gloves, but it's not the last. A few weeks ago, Mark Zuckerberg explained his vision for the Metaverse rebranding of Facebook as Meta. So on Tuesday, the company unveiled their first major product. According to The Verge, Meta is building hardware that reproduces sensations like grasping an object or running your hand along a surface. It's lined with 15 inflatable plastic pads. The pads run along the palm and underside the fingers and fingertips. And there's a camera and sensors to detect finger movement and bending. Okay, you can see in the image right here, but that's probably not a prototype. That's probably just a meme, and someone just put a glove on Mark Zuckerberg and made his eyes glow. So don't take that as a product demonstration, but basically it's going to give you the idea. Now, if you pick up let's say you pick up a plate in the virtual world, the finger pads would inflate to create a real life feeling of something's in your hand, something's touching your fingers. This technology is called soft robotics and replaces traditional haptic technology that uses bulky motors with tiny air valves and things like that. This is all coming from The Verge. Now, in this article by The Hustle, they explained that even if Meta nails the technology, there's a number of challenges it faces before going to this market, including hand size. Hand sizes differ greatly, right? So the glove has to be a tight fit in order to be effective, and you're going to have kids using it, larger people, smaller people, right? Men, women. So cleaning the glove will also probably not be as easy as throwing it in the laundry. And biometric data collected from the glove raises potential privacy concerns. Yes, they're grabbing biometric data all the time. In fact, I just heard another story. I'll probably report about it in the next Cybersky podcast about China collecting our DNA info from vaccination. I don't know if that's just in China, but somehow they're taking the info that they get from medical stuff, getting your DNA, and they're adding it to your data that they've collected from your social media use and your online and your digital footprint. So now we're starting to add that. So Meta will be collecting biometric data from your use of these gloves, right? So that's another potential concern of that. Now, besides this, there's another product in the works. Meta Reality Labs is the full, the unit responsible for the AR and VR headsets and hardware and gloves. It's also building let me see if I'm saying this right, electromyography tools to turn nerve signals in the arm into digital actions. This makes me feel like it sounds like technology they would use for prosthetics. So the moving of the arms, the nerve signals sending messages to the hand. So maybe they'll be creating some kind of virtual reality synthesis with AR and with prosthetic hands, which I know also the person thinks of the movement and then the prosthetic moves. I've seen demonstrations of that. So that's very interesting. With a reported 10 million Oculus Quest 2 VR headsets already sold, 4 of them to me for the technology classroom where I work, where I teach at. Meta's solution will set the pace for the industry, just like Zuckerberg planned as far back as 2016. So he's been working on these things since 2016. And they're spending 10 billion on this metaverse hardware just this year. Not altogether, 10 billion this year. And this is the first product. So let me know what you think about that in the chat, in the comments. Those are today's quick bites. We'll be right back with more tech talk. It's a question I have for the audience about Joe Rogan and Spotify. But before we get to that, like the video, share it with more people so they can join us. If you're new, please subscribe, and we'll be back with that Joe Rogan Spotify story. Don't go away. Welcome to the Cybersky. Let's learn something. All right, we are back. Welcome to Tech Talk. Today we're going to talk about one of the biggest, if not the biggest, podcasters, YouTubers, just call them influencers on the planet. I was going to say in the space, but forget the space, on the planet, period. Joe Rogan, give it up. I'm a big fan of Joe Rogan for entertainment value. I do not take Joe Rogan's politics or understanding or lack of understanding of any medical issues into any consideration at all. I do not go to him for that. I watch real experts in different fields, political analysts and medical professionals and scientists. So I'm not really that put off by his issues with, vaccines and mandates and all that. I do feel that the news treated him incorrectly. They slandered his name. I think he should sue them for saying that he took the horse medicine. Not because I'm taking any stand on whether ivermectin works or has potential to work as something that would help with COVID. It's not even that important anymore because we have other things like anticloval antibodies. We've got so many treatments plus a lot of immune boosting things that will help you get through COVID, as well as now a vaccine which lessens the severity of the COVID. So all those things together, I'm not really going to be looking into ivermectin. I don't care if he and a few other YouTubers have claimed that they took it and it helped them. So that being said, I want to talk about, for entertainment value, Joe Rogan's entry into Spotify, right? This was a huge news story when it first happened. You guys remember he went to Spotify, and at first I was really heartbroken because I was like, oh no, he's leaving YouTube. But he didn't really leave YouTube, as you guys know. He left his old content up, and all of his new podcasts, his full-length 2 to 3 hour conversations, are only on Spotify. But then he takes little 7 to 10 minute snippets of good conversations, things that came up, and he puts those up on YouTube as a promo to direct people to the full podcast. So I still watch his stuff on YouTube, as I'm sure a lot of people do. I may get around to checking him out on Spotify, but I haven't done that yet. I don't think I always really listen to his long form. I wasn't a subscriber who, like, every podcast he comes out with, I watch it. I just wanted to research certain topics. So if he had someone on talking about something that was of interest to me, I wanted to hear them when they talked about that. So I always listen to the short YouTube clips anyway. Let me know if you guys watch Joe Rogan, if you're a fan of his. Now, Rob Litterst from thehustle.com, he wrote an article and he asked this question. I found this very interesting, so I wanted to put it to you guys out there. The question is, was Joe Rogan's Spotify deal worth it? At first, I thought this was obvious. Yes, he received $100 million, similar to Howard Stern when he made the move to Sirius XM satellite radio years ago. Nobody passes up that type of money, right? So no matter what the downsides are, of course, it was well worth it. Well, according to Litterst, the writer at The Hustle, it depends on what you value. And, Joe Rogan was already a multimillionaire before getting that deal. And so I found this perspective refreshing and wanted to break down the article to you and offer it up to you guys for discussion. So let's take a look. I'm actually going to put up some of the article. In Joe Rogan, who signed a deal with Spotify worth $100 million plus, has lost influence since making his podcast exclusive to the platform. So how do you measure the influence? He hasn't lost his influence with me, but they've got metrics. So let's take a look at this. Here's the facts. In May 2020, Joe Rogan signed the $100 million licensing deal, giving streaming platform exclusive access to his podcast. Again, that's for the new podcasts, not his old stuff. He didn't pull it all down off of YouTube. It's still there. Spotify's market cap jumped by approximately $4 billion within 1 day of the announcement. So it was great for them. On paper, the deal looked like a win-win. Let me remove some of this branding at the bottom so that you can see everything. Let me take the banners down. Hang on. Pull that. All right. A new report from The Verge suggests that Spotify got the better end of the deal. Let's see why. Since going exclusive, Rogan has lost influence. Spotify hasn't revealed Rogan's listenership numbers, so the report, looked at a variety of metrics before and after the signing, including Twitter followers. Pre-Spotify, Rogan's guest averaged 4,000 new followers after an appearance on the show. Since going exclusive, that number has dropped to 2K. So if I went on the show and I was lucky enough that he was interviewing with me, I would expect an average of 4,000 new followers right after that show. Since going exclusive on Spotify and no longer being on YouTube, that number has dropped to only 2,000. Okay, what about Google? Google trends. In 2020, Rogan maintained steady interest and regular spikes. Since going exclusive, his baseline interest has dropped and he's only spiked 2 times. Okay, YouTube subscribers. Pre-Spotify, Rogan averaged 265,000 new YouTube subscribers per month. Post-deal, he's averaging 100,000. You know, even though it's saying that, yes, so he's no longer averaging as much. He's averaging 165,000 less subscribers per month on YouTube because he's not there as much anymore. But he's gaining all the Spotify listeners. So I would like to see data from how much he's gained. So possibly he traded. I'm going to lose some of this, but I'm going to gain some of that. This is similar to me of what happens when a music artist, let's say someone like a Kanye West, comes out with a new album and a new style, and his old fans don't like it. So they say, I want the old Kanye. So people want the old Joe Rogan, right? So that's okay. Kanye sacrifices some core supporters who will say, oh, he changed his style. He's selling out. I don't like the new direction he's going in. Because this new stuff that he's doing is going to gain him new people that like that weren't following him before that. And I think that's true of Joe Rogan as well. So it's a trade-off. Yes, he's going to lose some YouTube, but he's going to gain a bunch of Spotify. I don't think that they're going to give us those numbers in this article. So let's continue on and see what other points are made from the hustle here. Right? Now it says Rogan isn't the first big name to lose influence after going exclusive. When the deal was announced, Andrew Wilkinson of Tiny compared the move to Howard Stern's deal with Sirius, just like I did, arguing that Rogan got ripped off. But is he saying Howard Stern got ripped off? I do know that once Howard moved to Sirius, I didn't listen anymore. And then even when I got Sirius XM a couple years later myself, I still didn't watch his show because I got used to not following him. I kind of lost interest. But I listened religiously to his show when it was on the radio, on Celestial Radio, as they call it, FM. Citing Stern's waning cultural influence, he questioned whether Rogan's payout was worth the trade-offs of going exclusive. Now, before Howard Stern made the move, he had been on Celestial Radio for like 30 years. So he did that. He conquered everything. He became number one in his local area. Then he became number one syndicated. He took out all the other shock jocks. Then he got a television show, cable TV show, that had high ratings. He ran for governor as a joke. He became a cultural icon. He released a movie in theaters. So he had already been winning for 30 years, and then he moved to Sirius XM. So I can't say that Howard Stern lost, even if he lost some influence after that, because maybe he was going to lose some influence anyway. It runs its course at some point. He's not gone. His fans still have him there, and he got, tens of millions or maybe $100 million. I think he might have gotten $100 million also for his move, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Maybe I'm off. Let me take a look here. A few people commenting. Oh, thank you, Semo Films. Appreciate it. So, but let's get back to Joe Rogan. So Howard, I'm not sure if that was a big deal. Joe Rogan was on for 6 to 8 years building his platform. And then for the last 3 or 4 years, he was the biggest thing on YouTube and the biggest podcast. He gets more views than television shows, news shows, higher ratings than anything on cable TV. So he wasn't just beating all the other influencers out. He actually has more influence and more views on his show than anyone in the world. So, and he only had that for a short period of time. So while I don't think I would agree that Howard Stern lost by moving to Sirius XM, he already had been on top and been the king for like 20 years. Maybe they have a point with Joe Rogan. Let me know if you agree or not. But specifically, Joe Rogan lost a direct relationship with his subscribers. I'm no longer going to watch him on YouTube and leave the comments underneath. Someone who watches Spotify, let me know if they have a robust comment engagement or if they even have comments on Spotify. I'm not even sure if that's a thing. Building Spotify's recurring revenue instead of his own. Yeah, their revenue went up by $4 billion, but he got $100 million. So yes, that's called an advance. It's like if you're a recording artist, you could take more money up front and then you get less on the back end. But the advantage is you already got your money. So whenever you do something, it could tank and not do well. You could put out an album and you're expecting it to do so well and it hardly sells anything and you don't make any money. If the label already gave you a couple $1 million in advance, hey, it's up to them to sell the album now. Hey, I did my thing. I turned in the album. I'll promote it. But if it doesn't make money, I still got that money in advance. Yes, I will owe it to the label and I'll have to pay it back over time. But I already saw that money, so I could make money with that money and I could use it for what I need to use it for, including promoting the record. But let's go back from the music business back into Spotify. So Rogan could have went on Spotify and nobody could have tuned in. They could have not liked the move. And Spotify could have made mistakes with its marketing and it could have lost money. But he's guaranteed to get his 100 million. He got that as part of the contract. So I don't know if Rogan lost by doing this. Another point, serving a smaller audience and having less impact. Now, I would like to see the numbers on Spotify, but I'm going to assume that Lithurst at The Hustle did his research and that he is serving a smaller audience. So he is having less impact. But let's keep it real at the end here. Who needs influence when you can get the bag? That's the question. Okay, seeing the downsides of exclusivity firsthand will likely influence up-and-coming podcasters facing similar decisions. Alice Cooper of Caller Daddy and Dex Shepard of Armchair Expert. They both signed exclusive deals to Spotify recently. Will others be so fast to follow suit? Well, I'll tell you this, Spotify can come to the Cybersky and offer me a deal because I want to move into Spotify space anyway. And so, rather than me struggling from the bottom, trying to build my platform there, at the same time as building a YouTube platform and at the same time as going on Instagram and TikTok and all the other platforms that I use, hey, if you want to pay me to be exclusive, I'll shut all of this down, give me $100 million, and I'll just be on Spotify. Done. But in Rogan's case, of course, I'm being sarcastic. In Rogan's case, it's hard to argue with the 100 million payday, but there's still a good chance that he sold himself short. So my question to you, the audience, is what do you think? Did Joe make a mistake by taking the Spotify deal, and would other influencers be wrong to follow? Is the money worth leaving behind a community on your old platform who may not follow you if you switch? What would you do? Some of you are influencers. If you were offered that much money to make the switch, if you were Joe Rogan, let's put yourself in his shoes now. You're the #1 guy on YouTube. You've got 265,000 new followers and subscribers every month, I think they said. And you could lose that. And you definitely will lose some of your audience and some of your influence. What would you do? Would you make the switch for that kind of money? And finally, tell me what you think I should do if I'm ever offered a bag. It might not be 100 million. It might be 100,000, whatever it is. If I'm offered a bag to go to an exclusive platform, maybe a new platform that's coming out. I know some new platforms that are being worked on that are going to run on the blockchain that'll be coming out soon. So at that point, if someone were to offer me, to pull all my content from social media, that means cancel my Facebook page, the Cybersky page, not my personal, Twitter account, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube, and move to this new exclusive platform that's giving me the bag, what should I do? Do you think I would be wrong for doing that? Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. If you learned something, you can show your appreciation by Hulk smash that like button, please. And share the video on social media. Share it later, even when it's not live. Let people know so we can build our audience right here on the Cybersky channel. Make sure you're subscribed and ringing the bell for notifications of the next video. I'm trying to go live more often, but all these technical difficulties have been stacked against me, and one by one, I'm knocking them down. I'm getting a new computer. I increased my Wi-Fi. I've got a professional mic now. You like it? Got my Shure MV7. And I'm doing all these things. The lighting is good. I'm trying to make it easier to create better content for you. I hope you guys appreciate it. Studio. Hey, looks like we're coming back little by little. All right. Hilarious. And we're back. All righty. Hey, that's interesting. I never knew what would happen if a fuse blew. Would the show just stop or would it come back? But apparently it comes back. So pardon me. My stepson turned on a heater and he had the oven on as well, an electric oven that used a lot of power, and it was too many things, and the whole house blew. That's hilarious. First, I just thought that the internet was glitching, but it was because the modem turned off, and then all the lights started turning off, and I said, "Oh, blew a fuse." All right. So next thing for me to work on for next week in terms of tech issues is to get a backup, one of those outlets for this room, so that it's not relying on the electricity. What do you call those power strips? It's not called a power strip. You know what I'm talking about. You plug everything into it. It's got a battery. If your fuse blows, it keeps you on the air. So just reloading all my notes. It is funny. It is ironic that every time I talk about any kind of tech issues or internet or streaming or throttling, then poof, something happens. It's like they're just trying to get me. We're cursed. No, it's okay. I looked at the brighter side. I had some iced tea. I said, you know what? I needed a break anyway. Had a little sip. Took a little break. It's my water. But yeah. So getting back to Joe Rogan, let me know your thoughts. If you, like I said, if you learned something, smash that like button, share on social media, etc., etc. When we return, we will talk about how crypto is being used for philanthropy, and plus something crazy that Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry is doing with NFTs. You won't believe this. It has to do with bacteria and DNA. This is the craziest story of the show. So don't miss Crypto Gems. We'll be right back. Welcome to the Cybersky. Sorry for the technical difficulties, but we're still here. Shout out to Pumpkinhead. Still here. That's right. We're still here. All right. We'll be back. Crypto Gems up next. Welcome to the Cybersky. Let's learn something. All right, we are back. This is Crypto Gems. We're going to talk about crypto donations and ushering in a new era of philanthropy. This is an article that I saw on Coinbase. So that's what made me want to talk about it. Let's throw up some branding. Yes, there we go. Can you see? Cool. My logo's covering up the article. Gotta do something about that. All right. Well, anyway, we're in Crypto Gems. This is the last segment of the podcast. This is where we talk about blockchain, NFTs, cryptocurrency, anything else related to that. Well, our first story today has to do with, I'm going to remove the overlay, philanthropy, charitable giving. According to this article on Coinbase, 45% of crypto holders donated $1,000 or more to charities in 2020, compared to 33% of all investors, according to a new report by Fidelity. This year, Fidelity Charitable, the firm's nonprofit arm and the U.S.'s largest grant maker, has received over $274 million in crypto, nearly quadrupling its 2017 record of $69 million. Millennials are more charitably inclined and more likely to invest in crypto than their baby boomer or Gen X counterparts, the survey reports. Fidelity Charitable's Tony Uman noted, as investors, particularly millennials, combine their interest in digital currency with their charitable values, digital assets have the potential to become a significant source of funding for philanthropy. Apparently, we've entered a new era of philanthropy. Philanthropy refers to charitable acts or other good works that help others or society as a whole. Philanthropy can include donating money to a worthy cause or volunteering your time, efforts, or other forms of altruism. Now, here's some examples. Last year, or actually this year, Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade in NYC featured its first ever NFT auction. All right. Sales of 10 digital collectibles based on classic parade balloons. So they made a NFT for each of their balloons, their characters, and the money went to benefit the Make-A-Wish Foundation. The retailer is one of many to embrace the potential of NFTs and the blockchain technology. But its effort to share its wealth is more than a seasonal trend. The crypto market's 2021 surge fueled a rise in charitable giving. Let's hear it for crypto. And major nonprofits like UNICEF are embracing the shift of connecting to crypto philanthropists, and they want to connect to these platforms to welcome year-round digital donations. Let's take a closer look. Let's look at some more data here. All right, major foundations like the American Red Cross, Save the Children, International Animal Rescue, accept crypto donations. Many, like the Fred Hutchinson Cancer Research Center, instantly convert crypto gifts into US dollars to fund their initiatives, while some, like GiveCrypto.com, send crypto directly to unbanked people in need. That's interesting. This is their website, and it says here, Give Crypto is a nonprofit that distributes cryptocurrency to people living in poverty. By using crypto and blockchain technologies, we can put funds directly in the hands of impoverished and the unbanked. The unbanked are people whose financial situation or lack of technology means that they can't even get a bank account. So they don't have a MasterCard or a savings or anything like that. They strictly work on a cash basis in whatever country they live in. Very interesting. Meanwhile, crypto native organizations like Endowment, by the way, Endowment, DAO, DAO stands for, is it Digital Something Organization? I can't remember right now. Oh, Decentralized Autonomous Organizations, right. So a DAO is a decentralized autonomous organization, and they have crypto native organizations like Endowment, see what they did there? Also the Giving Block and BitGive. They use blockchain tech to simplify donating. BitGive's GiveTrack platform uses Bitcoin public ledger to show Bitcoin donors exactly how their funds are being used, while the Giving Block helps over 600 nonprofits set up wallets so that they can take crypto donations. And they auto-convert the donations to US dollars or simply hold the gifted crypto. This makes sense to me because basically, you know, a lot of millionaires were created by the crypto revolution that we're in the midst of right now. There's even some crypto billionaires. You know, there's less. Then there's more millionaires. There's, I think it's in the thousands of people who bought crypto when it first was starting in its infancy and then became millionaires after a few years. Now, I'm not a millionaire, but I times 5 to the money that I put into crypto so far. And it's been going up, down. So, you know, but it's kind of averaging out to still be about 5 times since 2017 till today. I'm up times 5. So, of course, I didn't have that much money invested because I just was trying a little here, trying a little there, and building my portfolio and learning the platform. But even the small amount that I put in increased fivefold. So that makes me more likely to have extra money that I wouldn't mind donating to a charitable cause because I'm doing a little better financially. And then I want to spend using crypto because the more you use crypto for transactions, the more valuable it becomes. So if I'm going to give to a charity, I always, by the way, every year give to charities and I make charitable donations all the time. I'm going to want to do it with the digital, with crypto, because that's going to also increase the usage of crypto as more people do that. And then the value of crypto that I have will go up. So even by me taking some of my crypto and giving it away, the remaining crypto is pushed up by that and will replenish and become more valuable. So I think this is a good trend. I want to salute all the people who donated, who made money on crypto and didn't be like, haha, I made money, I'm going to go buy a Lamborghini, but actually gave to these charities and wanted to help people. Let's look at some more. So the Macy's auction that I told you about is only one of many charitable NFT projects this year. This fall, the World Wildlife Fund in Germany launched their non-fungible animals. Oh, that's cute. So I think I remember their logo has a panda or something, the World Wildlife Fund. Non-fungible animals initiative to aid endangered species. Nice. So they're going to sell these NFTs of animals, and the money raised goes to aid endangered species. While tech literacy organization Street Code Academy, which teaches kids coding and adults too, auctioned PNFTs, philanthropic NFTs. New vocabulary word. I'm going to have to put this on my other channel, Crypto Crib Notes. What is a PNFT? I'm going to do a video on that. Subscribe to Crypto Crib Notes if you haven't. Just to go on YouTube, search Crypto Crib Notes. It's a brand new channel. It's got like 9 or 10 subscribers. I just created it. I haven't put a lot of content up yet. But that's going to be the how-to platform. So, all the definitions, how to buy crypto, what is the blockchain, what are crypto wallets, how do they work, everything tutorial is going to be on there. Whereas the Cybersky videos, we just tell you interesting stories about tech, crypto, and health and other things. But that's going to be a really good informational channel. Anyway, these things help underserved BIPOC community members join the tech economy. All right, it's pretty good. Shout out to Street Code Academy. Street Code Academy is a similar platform that teaches coding similar to what I teach at my school, Arts and Letters 305 United, using code.org. I know this is an adult channel, but nothing really bad happens on this channel, so it's perfectly safe for children to watch. And I'm pretty sure some of my students go and look this video up. So whenever I mention Arts and Letters 305 United, they get a shout out. So hopefully that makes them feel good. Now, the last NFT I want to talk about is Star Trek is making NFTs. I got this from xfire.com, so shout out from them. This is one of the so-called philanthropic NFTs created that is backfiring. Star Trek, a while ago, they made a Boldly Go NFT, which was not received well by fans, and they took it down, and they got so many complaints. Let me tell you about it. They attempted to create 100% quote green NFT, where fans would submit their hopes for the future, and it would be minted into an NFT with donated proceeds going towards selected charities, right? But fans trashed the idea, saying it was pandering. They didn't like the energy-intensive cryptography process of verifying NFTs on the blockchain. This is what people like Bill Maher were talking about when they were trashing crypto in general. And there are definitely problems where the amount of energy, hence electricity, used to run the computers that keep the blockchain going, it burns a lot of energy, and some of that energy comes from non-green sources like burning coal and oil and things like that. Now, some of it, to be fair, comes from wind power, solar power, and other forms of green energy. So all NFTs aren't made off of dirty energy. But I guess the fans felt that the Star Trek NFT are just going to promote NFTs and NFTs in general. A certain percentage of them are polluting the environment at this time. Now, people like Elon Musk and the creators of the, not creators, but the, should I call them supervisors, the members who keep the Bitcoin going and Ethereum, they're working on greenifying all their mining processes so that within a year or two, it would no longer be leaving any negative footprint. It's been getting much better. And I'll do a whole nother show exclusively on how the blockchain is going green. But in the meantime, it's still causing some degradation of the environment of all the use of that electricity. But then again, so are computers in general, so are refrigerators, so is everything that's electronic that uses electricity. So it's not really crypto that's bad or NFTs or the blockchain. It's really just the fact that our electricity is run partially on coal. We just have to stop that in every country. We just got to cut that out. Everything should be hydropower, wind power, solar power, and then that won't be an issue. But anyway, fans were upset because Star Trek was about this future where we've solved all of Earth's problems. We've ended racism because now we're all planet Earth and we go out into the world and we engage with other species of aliens, right? We've ended sexism. We've ended pollution. We've supposedly solved all these problems. So to think that Star Trek would do an NFT, which is leading to, some global warming, supposedly, allegedly, they didn't like that. So after a while, due to fan pressure, the Roddenberry organization, they canceled that one. So now they're back with another attempt of an NFT. They're taking the code of a tokenized version. Check this out. Of Roddenberry's signature when he signed the first contract in 1965 for the first series of Star Trek on television, right? The beginning of it all. So he took that signature, digitized it. Here's where it gets scary. That code for that digitized signature has been implanted into a strand of DNA. I was telling my students this. Programming and computers is now using DNA because you can store more bits of information in a single strand of DNA than you can in a microchip with metal of the same size. So to make things smaller and to make chips faster and hold more processing and more storage, they're putting pieces of DNA into computer chips. They've been doing this for a few years now. So not only will people start getting mechanized with microchips and prosthetics and Android type features where, like, if you have an arm, if you lose an arm, you can get an electronic, a robot arm, connected to you and things like that. Not only do we have pacemakers helping our heart to stay beating, not only do we have all this tech inside our body, we also have our bodies inside of tech. As we put pieces of, I guess, biodegradable flesh, we put flesh. Is it flesh? I don't know. We put organic material into the computer chips now. We use DNA to store data. So they're doing this, they're implanting the code for that NFT into a strand of DNA. And the DNA is stored, get this now, within a self-replicating bacteria cell and minted on Solano's Metaplex protocol. I have Solano, shout out to that. Go look into Solano if you're looking to diversify your crypto portfolio. It's a good one. Read the white paper, check it out, see if it's for you. But yeah, I know that it's a bacteria, not a virus. But how can I say this delicately so YouTube doesn't take me off of the channel again? Under the present conditions that the world is living in, okay? I'm not using certain words. You know what I'm talking about. That sounds like a recipe for disaster, playing around with NFTs stored on the DNA inside of that's implanted into bacteria. The reason why they're putting into bacteria is because bacteria multiplies and duplicates itself. And as more cells are created, as the bacteria adds another billion cells, and then another billion cells, and then another billion cells, the NFT is replicating along with that, the DNA with the code. So the crypto or the NFTs and crypto are sort of the same thing, really. One's a collectible, one's used for currency, but they're technologically their code on the blockchain is expanding and it's becoming more valuable based on the length of time that goes by and how much the bacteria has replicated. And oh my God, this sounds like a Michael Crichton movie. You know, Michael Crichton made Jurassic Park. I'm going to give you some more details. By the way, shout out to Ray Ampliquito, who wrote this article for Xfire. Star Trek NFT is now the first living eco NFT. So now I need to go to Crypto Crib Notes and do what is a living eco NFT. This is the next thing, right? Roddenberry Entertainment is turning Gene Roddenberry's signature on the show's first contract into a digital art piece, referring to it as the first living eco NFT. The NFT, which was signed in 1965, no, the contract was signed in 1965, I think they're getting confused now, is unique in that the creators implemented the Star Trek creator signature into a living bacteria cell. Digest that for a moment. This means that as the cell makes new copies of itself, the NFT grows by a factor of around 1 billion per night. Wow. At the moment, the first Star Trek NFT, El Primero, that's the name of it, is still dormant. But what will happen when it's not? Dun, dun, dun. Anyone interested can view the bacteria inside a vial encased inside of a glass cube. Oh, I like that, cube. At the Art Basel Miami Beach Art Fair. I will not be checking that out. Hopefully, and they had to put it in a glass cube. It's in a vial in a glass cube. Like things that can all break and bacteria can be released. Hey, it's probably not that harmful bacteria because it just has code on it. But who knows what kind of bacteria they use? That's what I'd like to know. If anyone in the science world has info on that, knows the bacteria they're using, let us know in the comments. We'd really like to know. So I ask you, audience, what could possibly go wrong? What do you think of that? Is that, are we playing with fire here again? Hey, Angus, what's up? This is pretty crazy. So I see some people in the comments talking about crypto and what to invest in. I have discussed that on previous shows, and I will be making more videos specifically on that. I'm not going to get into that today, but to the short, just a couple of sentences on that. Nobody can tell you what crypto to invest in the same way that no one can tell you what stocks or bonds to buy in the stock market, or what house is the right one for you to buy. I like the house metaphor. Let's stay there. Real estate can be beneficial, and you also could lose your money if you don't handle it right? So you have to choose real estate based on many factors. Some of them are personal. What are you going to get out of it? Are you going to be able to manage the real estate? Are you going to be able to do the renovations? Are you going to have rent, be able to collect rent on that real estate, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? You don't only just buy real estate, hope that it goes up in value, and then sell it a few years later. That's not the game. Crypto, similarly, is very personal. Each token in the world of cryptocurrency is based on something in the blockchain. Now, some of them are only forms of currency, like Bitcoin. It doesn't do anything except you could just give it to someone as currency and buy something with it or receive some of it, and it's worth a dollar value in whatever fiat currency you use in your country, right? But other things like Ethereum have technology attached to it. Ethereum is a blockchain and a platform and a coding language, and people have their apps that they've created on Ethereum. For example, NFTs are minted on Ethereum. So because it has usefulness, the more people use those apps, the more people make smart contracts based on Ethereum, or the more people get into the NFT market, the more Ethereum is useful, the stronger its possibility of maintaining value and sticking around for the long haul will be. And then it will go up in value because more people will want to invest in it. So it's a lot of different factors. Now, there are other, altcoins, as we call them. Anything but Bitcoin is an altcoin. So there are others like Cardano, Polygon, Polkadot, Solana, and some of these are based on Ethereum. So there's layers. So we got layer 1, and then layer 2 is like another coin that company made something, let's say an inventory system that's being used by all the big box stores like Walmart and Costco. So someone created a new inventory system that saves these companies millions of dollars, and it's run on that token technology, which is run on Ethereum technology. And so you're adding layers of things that happen that are valuable. As long as you know that these companies are going to want to make millions of dollars using this technology, that technology is not going to go away. They're not going to let it go away. So therefore, it's strong. It's not going to disappear one day and you had 1,000 coins and now you have nothing because it's worthless. So in order to decide for yourself what coins you want to invest in, you need to go to their websites and read what they write about what their company does and what their mission is. And sometimes they have a philosophy or a politics about it too. Maybe they believe in, green energy and they're working towards using the technology for that. Maybe they, want to clean up the ocean. So you might want to invest because you believe in that and you feel that other people believe in that too. So it's very personal. At the end of the day, you will find some coins that you read what they write and you read reviews about what they write from other people. Go to some reputable online websites that discuss investing. And some of them will seem kind of fly by night and flimsy and they don't really have much value. So you have to just not invest in those and invest in the ones that speak to you that seem like they're going to have value. But understand that you're taking a chance with all of it. There's no guarantee. So how do you make your decision? You want to go with what you think has the most likeliness, is most likely in terms of probability to succeed and to be valuable in the future. So that's all for that, but I will go into more of that another time. But getting back to the altruism, the Star Trek bacteria DNA NFT is kind of scary, but altogether it's still an attempt to be humanitarian. They're going to use the sale of the NFTs to fund charities like these other countries. Like these other companies, charitable organizations. So getting back to using the blockchain technology for charity and using crypto, charitable giving in the US reached a record $471 billion in 2020. And that's partially because more of crypto's nearly $3 trillion market trickled down into the donation sector, the charity sector. Nonprofits, they could see the significant changes, and not just donation amounts, as more organizations like Endowment, Decentralized Autonomous Organization, DAO, Endowment, and BitGive built their blockchain native platforms. Donors are be able to track how their contributions are being spent. So that's what the blockchain does. It offers transparency and based by mathematics and technology and verified by thousands of seeders and miners verifying that that's how the money was used. So this kind of lends itself to charity giving, because one big problem in the world of charity is there's a lot of charities that spend a huge percent of the money they take in on internal operations and paying their staff and spending it on trips. And how much of that is really going to, let's say they're for feeding the homeless, how much of that is going to that? Let's say they're saving the whales. How much of the money, is it 70%? Is it 90%? Or is it 20%, 80% is, paying for operations? Or is someone corrupt in that charity, siphoning off money and spending it, illegally, and then later on you find out that the government investigated, took away their 501c. So people don't want to feel that they're working hard for their money. They're going to take a little percent of that and they're going to donate it because they want to make a difference in the world. And then that organization didn't spend the money properly. Blockchain solves that. When you use a blockchain native platform, the donors can track their contributions and how they're being spent and make it an opaque process. But exactly how will the new era of philanthropy, crypto philanthropy, play out? As BitGive board member Paul J. Lamb put it, the future of giving is for all of us to imagine, create, and build on our common desire to give back. Speaking of giving back, did you know that the Cybersky Videos brand is a subsidiary of a corporation known as Stairs Academy Nonprofit? And you can join the Stairs Academy and Cybersky Videos Patreon and support this very channel. Let me show you how. Not only will you be helping us to create more content and educational opportunities in underserved communities, but you can also get a shout out in one of our podcasts. You can get early access and you can get exclusive content. Plus, you could get a custom Cybersky branded Rubik's Cubes. So join the Patreon and become part of the Cybersky community. Link in description. If you follow us for crypto info and want to throw us a tip, we do accept crypto through our crypto wallet address, which will be in the description. You can also donate to us directly at paypal.me/stairsandcybersky. STAIRSAND Cybersky. Thanks for watching the Cybersky podcast. I hope you learned something. If you did, don't forget to smash that like button. Subscribe, ring the bell for notifications so you never miss a Cybersky video. Share with friends, and for the doubters, you know what I say. Remember, the best revenge is success. Stay healthy, my friends, and as always, stay blessed. Cybersky out.